Verse 20. Go ahead. But
let's open up with our first Maccabees. All right. Takes place around between 167 BC. Okay, so about 160. Y'all see this book on the screen that I have up there? Abiel, Ancient Jewish Coinage, Volume 1, from the Persian period through the Hasmoneans. Hasmoneans. Make sure we go over Hasmoneans so I don't forget. This is for a lot of you doubters out there. They did an archaeological dig regarding the coinages used. Give me the scripture about Simon. It says that Simon was allowed to mint his own money.
First Maccabees 15, verse 1. Moreover, Antiochus, son of Demetrius, the king, sent letters from the isles of the sea unto Simon the priest and prince of the Jews, and to all the people.
So now this letter was written to Simon. Okay, jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. Now therefore I confirm unto thee all the oblations which the kings before me granted thee, and whatsoever gifts besides they granted.
This is what the Greeks allowed. Go ahead.
I give thee leave also to coin money for thy country with thine own stamp. So
he was given leave to make his own money. Can we blow that up big? This is from the Persians unto the Greeks. Okay, I read the book. I was reading it for a while. It's the Edomite stuff. It's a lot of boring talk. If you can see some of the stamps, you see an owl with Hebrew lettering. Go to the top second one. Y'all can see the top? Okay. If you can see, what does he look like? Anybody can see? It's a so-called Negro. Yeah, big lips, got the hair. Now the ones below it, if you look, there was a pictures of Ptolemy. The Edomite ones, bottom, like on the third row, with the nose to the side, profile, those stamps of Ptolemy. Now go to the other one, Abiel, there's one more picture. Okay, zoom in. If you can see, 1, 2, third row I want, far right, on my right. And the ones below it. Yeah, that one right there I want. Not the owl, I want the faces, yes. That face, and the bottom face, and all the way to the far left is another Negro. And in the center, right on that same row, right, is another Negro. These were coin mints of the Israelites. So you got some groups of dumb Israelites that says, we never used images. They're a bunch of lies. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. You're not supposed to have images. Shut up. We always had images. And when we were allowed to mint our own money, we used our images, black images, on our money. Okay, so can y'all see it? Y'all in the back, can y'all see it? Solomon, can you see in the back? Yes. Okay, yes, right there, where Shem is pointing, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth down, over in the center, is another Negro, the one that's circled, and above that, 2 up, right. So these are coins that were allowed, the Israelites were allowed to print, okay? Images of black men on their coin. The era of the Maccabees, when you look in history books, is often called what? Solomon.
Hasmonean era.
The what?
Hasmonean era.
The Hasmonean dynasty. Where does the term Hasmonean come from? Yes.
Simon.
Right, from Simon. Comes from Simon, his family. It relates to the entire Maccabean family, but the name stems from him, Hasmonean. Okay? Let's go to John chapter 10. It's verse 22. I'm shooting off the hip now.
John 22.
Yeah, John 10. For the rest of you doubters, oh, I'm not sure about it. You're so quick to celebrate Christmas with no evidence. Ask him, show me Christmas in the Bible. Or you show me Hanukkah. Okay, John 10, let's go. John 10, is it 21, 22? John 10, read that.
John 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication. And it was winter.
So that's letting you know 2 things. What are the 2 things that verse is letting us know, Zakai? What are the 2 things that verse is letting us know?
letting us know that Christ celebrated the Feast of Dedication, and also there was a winter
Right.
over in Jerusalem.
It's a winter holiday. Who knows how many winter holidays do we have?
Got Hanukkah, you got Purim, you got destruction on the Canaan, so that's 3.
Very good. Three winter holidays. That's Hanukkah, Hanukkah is Hebrew for what word? Dedication. Very good.
First Maccabees 1, verse 1. And it happened, after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kedem, and had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
So who was the first king over Greece that is Bible is revealing here? Levi.
Alexander the Great.
Right, Alexander. Okay, read on.
And
Wait a minute, wait. Who did he defeat?
He defeated the Persians and Medes, took over the kingdoms.
All right, what was the king's name?
Darius the king.
Okay, Darius. All right. Okie dokie then. Verse 2, please, come on.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
So Alexander was not a nice guy. A lot of you got in your mind that it was, Colin Powell. Not Colin Powell, Colin Farrell. Running around with, what's the Puerto Rican girl in that movie?
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario
Dawson.
Dawson. No, it wasn't like that at all. This dude was vicious. Verse 2 again.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
What kings did he kill? What kings did he kill? It's a vague question. You don't have to be specific. Yes, Aymar.
He had to conquer all the kings of the dark nations.
Right, he destroyed all the dark nations.
Bring
kings.
that microphone up.
Because remember, why did he kill all the dark? Why did he slay all the kings of the dark nations?
He was the first Edomite to rule.
Okay, that's what I wanted. This was the first Edomite king in power that unified all the other Edomite races. He was the first. So when they went out, they came out against all the dark nations and killed them. Read on.
And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
What does it mean so much that the earth was quiet before him? What does that mean? It's everyone. Get alive.
No one could rise against him and defeat him.
Right. Nobody could rise up against this guy. Everybody had to shut their mouth when that guy was on the scene. Go ahead.
And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him.
Meaning they paid taxes,
And
paid tribute. Go ahead.
And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die.
Now some books say he caught a bad case of fever. Other books say it was syphilis. It was syphilis. That dude was having sex with everything, and anything that had legs, he was banging it.
And the penis.
What?
And the penis. He was gay as hell.
Yeah.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
So now, who were the servants that he parted his kingdom with?
Cassander,
Cassander,
Lysimachus,
Lysimachus,
Ptolemy,
Ptolemy,
and Seleucus.
Seleucus. Those are the 4 top generals. Now he had more than 4. He had more than 4, but those were the top. Okay? Read on.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
So now, parted his kingdom among them. Go to the next one. Right there, the second paragraph.
All right, it says here, the 4 generals in the territories they took over from Alexander the Great after his death were Cassander, who took Greece and Macedonia.
Y'all might want to write that down.
Lysimachus, who took Asia Minor. Thrace, Bithynia, and Pergamum. Ptolemy, who took Egypt, Libya, and Palestine. And Seleucus, who took over Asia Minor, Syria, and Persia, which included Babylon.
Y'all see that? Go ahead.
This 4-way split in the kingdom was complete by 300 BC.
Right, remember, Alexander's reign began what year? Zeph?
333 BC.
333 BC. Okay, so here in the year 300, it was complete with the empire being split. Now, look at all that territory that Alexander had conquered, all those places. Okay? Go ahead.
There were 3 large divisions and a smaller one.
All right, I thought, what verse you at now?
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Read that again.
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
That's why it's very important. When we send our children to school, they teach our children that civilization started with the Greeks. God says what?
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
When the white man took power, control of the earth, the Bible says evils were multiplied. Not civilization, but evils. Okay? Do you know before the white man there was no such thing as vaccines? You did not have to get vaccinated. But when he came on the scenes, and some of y'all write us and ask about getting vaccinated. Listen, that is between you, your wife, and the Lord, whether or not you get your children vaccinated. I'll tell you why. In these foods that Esau puts out, these canned foods, even these salads and all that, they put, who can help me? They put pesticides in there. They put, give me some words? Additives in it, thank you. Genetically modified things in these foods that we all eat, which causes you to be sick. That's why they call it the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. The Food and Drug Administration works hand in hand. The foods is meant, give me that Ezekiel 4, please, get Ezekiel 4, because I'm keep getting emails and I'm getting tired of trying to solve your problems with you and your children. I'm not the problem solver when it comes to that.
Ezekiel 4 verse 13.
Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, pay close attention. This goes for you vegetarians who say, oh, I'm good because I'm a vegetarian. Yeah, okay. With all the pesticides you eat. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles.
So we shall eat defiled bread. Every bit of food we consume is defiled. There's some uncleanness with it. Now that's not to justify running eating a pork chop. Don't get stupid. Keep the law to the best you can. Rehearse the righteous acts. But it's letting you know the foods are defiled here. We are forced with the things we eat make us sick, which makes us go to the doctor. Everybody understand that? Yes. That's how the economy keeps going. As long as you get sick, the FDA is good. The food is coming in, you got sick yet? They gotta go to the hospital.
Some say I have a book right here that says Vaccines Are Dangerous by Curtis Koss.
Okay.
It's a real good book to check out. It tells you what they put into the vaccines. That's really have nothing to do with the human body at all.
Right. Now, if anyone decides to do it, that's fine. But don't get a whole bunch at once. Yeah. Meaning they want to give you like 4 shots at one time. Don't get that many.
Get 2 at once.
2 at one time at the most if you decide to do it. But that's your decision. I am not going to make a decision for you. That's you, your wife, and God.
And that's what it's for.
You know, so y'all sit down and y'all discuss that.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's so amazing about Esau? There you go, that if you're gonna give a little baby 4 at once, which one you gonna know who is affected by it? You understand? Showing you Esau is sick, man. These people, man.
What verse we at?
Back in 1 Maccabees 1 verse 10 now.
Okay, start at 9.
All right. 1 Maccabees 1 verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils are multiplied in the earth.
So the Bible, once again, I want y'all to forget that. God says, listen, I'm telling you, when the white man got in control of the earth, evils will multiply. Can we get a precept for that in Job 9:24?
Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So what is God calling the so-called white man? The wicked. What was multiplied in the earth when the white man took control? Evils. So the Bible is saying the same thing from cover to cover. The only problem is the Christian religion in your mind. That's why I'm not sure about that. I'm confused. It's Christianity. The spell of Christianity is on your mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers.
Malachi 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Y'all see that? So the Bible puts a name on the wicked that control the earth. Edomites. Edomites. Now, when you read in the book of Maccabees, I'm going to let y'all know, because some of y'all start reading and you get confused. Because you read about the Greeks, you read about the Romans in there, then you read about the Idumeans. Why do you read about those three groups? Aren't they all the same people? What's the problem? Who can help me?
Idumea is just a Greek word for Edom.
Okay, so in the book of Maccabees, we read about how Judah fought against the Greeks, then he fought against the Idumeans. Why?
They're still the same people.
Right. Still the same people who divided themselves into different factions. One group refused to be called Idumeans anymore. They said, no, we are Greeks. Later on, another group said, well, we're going to call ourselves Romans. Under Alexander, there was one. But when he died, everything got split up.
You know what's a good example of what the elder just said? Because you got white folks, I just use that term loosely. You got white folks here in America. You got some that are called French.
Yep.
You got another one called German. Another one called British. Another one called Spanish. But to their names, what name is added to it? Caucasian. French Caucasian. German Caucasian. Jewish Caucasian. What are they telling you? That they're all Caucasians. But is that their original name? No, they're Edomites.
Exactly. Let's go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 1. What verse that we at, I thought?
Verse 10 now.
Verse 10.
Again.
Right.
Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils will multiply. Go ahead.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
And there came out of them, read that part again.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
Go ahead.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. Who knows what Epiphanes means? Right here in the second row.
Means God manifested on earth.
Right. Epiphanies means God manifest on earth. This is now there were several Antiochus. Who knows which number he was? Was this Antiochus the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh? Joel.
This is Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth.
Very good. Antiochus the fourth. Write that down. The fourth. Okay, read on.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king.
Now what you all need to do is get a Bible dictionary, get yourselves a who's who in the Bible with the Apocrypha. They sell that on Amazon for like, what is it, $5? Who's who? Something like that.
10, 15.
$10, but get one. That is going to help you in your study. Where we at?
You see what we just read where it said in verse 9, it said, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves.
Yeah.
Stay with me, brother.
Okay.
Stay with me. They all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after the many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. The verse 10 is what I want. It said, and there came out of them a wicked root. So wait a minute. Evils were multiplied in the earth when they all started a thing, but out of them came one that was more wicked than the wicked. So he made Satan step back. That's what I was looking at. He was worse than he made Satan say, damn. All right, y'all got it now. Go ahead.
What verse you at, I thought?
10.
10.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
So what you're reading here is that during the reign of the Greeks, the Romans were rising up in power. They hadn't fully. What year did the Romans take over? What year and under who? Jan.
Rome took over 64 BC.
63 BC.
63 BC, and the first king was you got me on that. I forgot that one. I forgot the name.
Who was the general? I want the general's name.
General Pompey.
Very good, General Pompey. So what we're reading here, which is around the time of 167 BC, read verse 10 again.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Go ahead.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
So you had wicked Israelites rising up in power who wanted to make an allegiance with the Greeks. Now,
you also were active in the infiltration of many cultural groups. Before we go into that step by step, how much research and study did the FBI engage in of black culture in the late 60s?
A great amount.
Give me an idea.
From the thing is, I can, they have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music.
Music?
Music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
And they would actually study these different...
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture. To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups, using the information that they had gathered from the studies of blacks.
You mean just to understand the behavior pattern of our people?
Oh yeah, I can, you know, Will Heaton could name out some jams of Miles Davis that I hadn't even heard of. He could name off some books that I hadn't even read pertaining to black culture.
Do you ever see agents actually studying the music of...
Yes, yes. Yes, I've seen them going over even video portion of cultural events. The understanding, like when, okay, you have an organization like Leroy Jones Black House. You remember that? Okay, Leroy Jones's place, which was done on the thing of tribalism. That's where I first heard the word Kintu, Mantu, Huntu, Hintu. These words of the African continuum. You know, I learned that from an agent. He ran it down to me. They make in-depth studies of the personalities of the people they're dealing with too, culturally. It always helps when it's a thing of you can take their culture and use it against them.
How large would you say an extensive collection on our culture would you say the FBI has? Would you rate it as large as a particular library, like the Schomburg Library in Harlem? Or...
I would rate it better. I would rate it better, and the fact is that they go into details that we probably would overlook. Will Heaton used to meet me in different places. You know, Will Heaton, that was one of my supervising agents. There is a certain bar in the Los Angeles area where people into black cultural things met, and Will Heaton used to meet me there. And he would go into very long and tiring conversations with some very articulate brothers about culture, African culture, and Afro-American culture.
Tell me about some of the cultural organizations that you infiltrated and what you did.
PASLA, Mafunde, Watts Writers Workshop, which they have.
The Watts Writers Workshop?
Yes. Watts Writers Workshop, which was one of the oldest established black writers workshop.
That place was burned down.
Yeah. The Bureau had it burnt down.
How do you know that?
I know because I participated. I did the arson.
You burned down the Watts Writers Workshop?
Yes.
Why did they want it to go?
At the time, funding had been cut to the workshop, had been cut out, but it looked like there was a possibility of a grant being given back to the workshop. And if there was no theater, there would be no grant.
How did you do it?
2 cans of kerosene, Purex bottle, gasoline, and a flare, highway flare.
Why didn't you use more sophisticated stuff?
Oh, no. No. You're never overly sophisticated. It's too obvious. This way you make it look like, you know, maybe somebody in the neighborhood that got kicked out of theater at one time got mad and came and burned the damn theater up, that kind of thing.
But you were involved in this theater? I mean, did it get to you at all what you were?
Hey, man, that got to me a great deal. I love that theater. I built the stage.
You built the stage?
Oh, yeah. When I got to the workshop, the stage that had been, the original stage that had been built needed an extension on it. The original part of the stage was in terrible condition. They had no lighting system. I put the lighting system in myself. I put the stage in myself. And that was a stage, man. And that was a theater. It's a nice theater.
Who was the director of that workshop?
Harry Dolan.
Harry Dolan. Some very, very well-known artists supported that workshop, gave money to it.
Some very well-known artists came out of the Watts Writers Workshop. You know, Glenn Tubman, Yaphet Kotto. Sidney Poitier used to come down there and give a class. Sammy Davis Jr. used to come down there all the time. Quincy Jones used to come there and give music classes. We had our own 8-track studio setup for sound. We had our own sound room there.
Was part of your other activities and responsibilities to study the profiles of celebrities who were supportive of organizations?
Definitely, and especially, like I said, psychological backgrounds, weaknesses and strengths. Did he have a weakness for blondes? Did he have a weakness for money? Did he snort cocaine? Did he smoke marijuana? They even get into, and that's one thing the Bureau loves, is their sexual background. They have files and files on different blacks, not only celebrities, but a lot of others, sexual activity.
What would they do with this information?
Oh, that's used as a weakness.
So they would feed to these weaknesses?
Yes.
Did you see that happen?
Oh, yes. Doc Holliday, who is one of the leaders of the BGF, Black Gorilla Family, which is a prison gang.
Okay, let's go back to that verse again, I thought, verse 11. Now that's heavy. Y'all can look at the rest on your own, but for those of you with these fetishes and your weed smoking, people, Esau knows they build profiles on everybody. They know your weaknesses, they know your strengths. That's why the Most High said, keep his commandments and live.
Those who have
Yahusha made a comment a couple months ago. Remember Yahusha?
Yahusha made a comment a couple months ago when you said, if brothers knew that you're being watched right now, brothers wouldn't do half the things that they would do. In terms of
that's why on YouTube you have heathens saying, I know you're Israelites, the blacks are Israel, and the Hispanics, they'll go along with it. And brothers go, yeah, she might be Israel too, because she believes. No. That's the same thing going on right there. The same, that's why heathens in camps. Because it's the same, they study the culture. Okay, blacks are Israelites, Judah, okay, Benjamin, all right. And I'm Benjamin. And they be lying. They be straight heathens up in here, well, out here, well, who knows? And outside also. You never know. Doing the same thing.
What you talking about?
As I was listening to this thing, I thought about more than what we're talking about here. I thought about a lot of different things. I ain't gonna talk about it much to go away from the class, but I thought about like the women going to charm school, the so-called white women going to charm school, study Jake to marry him and take his money. You know, all kinds of stuff. The white boy put his hat on backwards. And I'm listening to how they study detail. They study the things that we don't even think about. They go to the mannerisms, the nuances.
Because the Most High got it down pat. Because a lot of you, a white woman walk up to you and say, I believe in your cause. And you brothers smile. She's setting up to kill your black behind. Destroy you. That's what got Malcolm all messed up. Remember the white woman came to him and said, can I help you? He said, no.
He said no.
But then when he came back from Mecca, he got all messed up and he's thinking, maybe I should have him help him. No. Martin had him all around him. Stokey, Carmichael, and Esau all around him. Liberal whites. Can we read that scripture?
Isaiah 32, verse 5.
Isaiah 32, verse 5.
The vile person shall be no more called liberal.
The vile person shall no longer be called liberal. Because you call them liberal because they believe in your cause. They believe in the blacks and Latinos, your struggles. I believe, and y'all fall for the okie doke. You let them marry your sister. You dumb as hell. Come on and have dinner. Look who's coming to dinner. What the hell is this? They all sitting up among you smiling. Then they go home and meet and talk about you, the food you eat, the things you watch on TV, furthering the profile on your dumb black behind. Yes, Bezalel.
This just explains why there's a corner store bodega all over our neighborhoods, and the products you find in there you will never find in white neighborhoods, such as malt liquor, cigarettes, other things that, like, you know, sugary foods, products, stuff like that. Yeah, and the same thing, that same information is given to the Arabs and the Chinese.
That's right.
That's why they open up Chinese stores in our Chinese restaurants in our neighborhoods, and they bring that halal chicken around us.
And Chinese people don't eat the same Chinese food y'all eat. Totally different. Because I'm talking, I said, how come you, I went in, this is a while ago, how come you make a whole separate thing? When I worked on Delancey, my boss was Chinese. The food he would get was different because it was all Simeon around there, Simeon and Ephraim. They ordered Chinese food. I would go to the store, pick it up. But when I ordered the boss, he said, listen, give them this slip of paper. And it was written in Chinese. So I would hand them that, and I see them go off to the side and they make something totally different. I bring it back. I say, hey, what's that you eating that's different than what they eat? He said, no, I got real Chinese food. They got some garbage. I ain't eating that. That's what they do in the hood. That's what they do. Who's gonna say something?
Right here, real quick, before I get past, like y'all been accusing me of. To the point that Bezalel was making about how the Arabs and how they set up the bodegas and all that, how they set that stuff up. Anytime somebody goes into business, what do they have to do?
Research.
They have to research what? I can't hear you.
The community. The demographic people in that neighborhood.
They have to, it's known as studying the market. They got to study the market. Anybody that's been in business, y'all know that. You have to look at the market. You have to say, well, can I sell this product here? So you have to study the market. Guess who the market is? You. So they will study, and what makes one business better than another is that the first person that did the study, if he studied deeper than business B, he's gonna make more money. If he studied the business down to the point where he's going down into the nuances, getting the things, going super deep, he's the one that's gonna do it. He's the one that's gonna get what he want to get out of you. And that's what this is all about. That's what he's talking about.
Exactly. Can we read that again, verse 11? Listen close.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen, that are round about us.
Like, if y'all ever get the chance, there's another video. I didn't pull it on this one. It's, y'all, so you might have seen it's by Travis Smiley, called Covenant Blacks.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of it? Covenant with Black America, or?
Yeah, it's the book that Travis Smiley.
Yeah. But there's a video of it.
Right.
And that's what I want y'all to take a look at. Because you got it, ASAP? The video is funny as hell. And what's funny about it is that Travis Smiley has a panel of the top, what they call the top echelon of black scholars.
Cornel West.
Cornell, all of them cats. But there was one black guy they did not invite, but he rolled on him anyway. Y'all know who that dude is. Farrakhan. So Farrakhan walks in and he says, he likes to flatter people. He compliments everyone on the panel to calm you down. He says, but I was not invited to this, but I do have one thing to say. And he goes to Isaiah, give me that Isaiah 29. I couldn't saw it. He got the, remember when they sent him over to the old school to learn the scripture? Because Farrakhan don't know the Bible. But when they sent people to the old school at One West to learn, is that the right one?
1:15.
About the covenant with that one. Read that.
Isaiah 28, verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
Right, now read that first part again that you just started with.
Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement.
So he was getting on a whole panel about trying to bring blacks back under the hand of white America. Man, that thing was funny as hell. If I had I would have played that one, but I was so busy I didn't get it. But let's go back to 1 Maccabees 1 and 11. When y'all get a chance, just take a look at it. Very, very funny video. And then Farrakhan took the book and threw it. Right. That made it even funnier. I said, oh, shoot. Travis Smiley wanted to knock the sweat off his head. He was mad as hell. Where we at?
Verse 11. 1 Maccabees.
Like Yawasab said, they were just trying to do damage control. After they were finished, they didn't know how to even speak to the people.
Right.
Because people in the crowd was crying.
Yeah.
You were looking at the woman, they were crying, they were listening to them speak, and they did not know how to handle after Farrakhan left.
First Maccabees 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
That's the covenant of hell and death we just read about in Isaiah 28. Go ahead.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Because it was always the law for Israel to be separate from the other nations. Right. So, when we were separate, the heathen put hell on us. So these cats was trying to bring us back under, I'll say, Christianity and democracy. Go ahead.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
When it says made themselves uncircumcised, meaning they stopped keeping the commandments. Stopped keeping the commandments. Go ahead.
And joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
See that? And joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, meaning sin. Mischief there means sin. Go ahead.
Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt.
Right, he went into Egypt. He started fighting Ptolemy. And don't ask me which one it is. Whoever knows, just put it on the screen. Look it up. Go ahead.
that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him, and fled, and many were wounded to death.
One of the Ptolemies was the father of a famous black woman. Who knows who she is? Levi.
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Ptolemy was her father. She's the one with us who married Mark Antony. Okay, then we're, she's black. No, she's really a white woman. Back to where you at, I thought.
verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities.
But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled.
And fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof.
Come on.
And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in 140 year, and went up against Israel in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the shewbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veils, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. And the land was also moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Read that again.
And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Read it again.
And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
That's why the Native American Indians, the tribe of Gad, called the white man what? Said they speak with what? A forked tongue. You know what a snake has a forked tongue, it's split. Calling them the devil, say they wicked as hell. Say one thing and do another. Go ahead.
And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
You know what's funny? Doesn't America have something called Camp David? They got a whole fortress, and it ain't the Israelites over there. That's their people, they heathen. Go ahead.
They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled it. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them. Whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness, her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach.
Come on.
Her honor into contempt, as had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
This is the beginning of democracy. Democracy for the people. Democracy, which is also Christianity. Read that again.
And moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
See that? All the heathen, meaning other nations, agreed. Just like under democracy here in America, how you have all nations come and agree to be one people. Forget their personal laws and religions of their land, but come here. Go ahead.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to this religion.
So you had many of our own people consent to this. Go ahead.
And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Come on.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars, groves, and chapels of idols.
Meaning churches. Go ahead.
And sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
If you ever notice today in these Christian churches, especially in the black ones, I know that, they always got a pork fest after Sunday service. You're going to have collard greens with pig's feet in it, pig ears, chitlins, ham hocks, hog maws, all that. This is what's going on here. Same thing, there's nothing changed. Go ahead.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
So there was a law not to be circumcised. The Greeks put out a law. If you notice in society, they're trying to make that a law again. They're calling circumcision barbaric. They say, oh, it's barbaric, it leads to sickness. That's not true at all. But that's what they're doing.
Galatians 6 verse 15. For in Christ Jesus, neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature.
So people will use that, not understanding the history behind it. What we're reading in Maccabees is the history behind it. You had, as we read on, you had many Israelites who fought against the Greek laws of not circumcising themselves, their sons. But then you had a remnant of Israelites who agreed to leave their sons uncircumcised. So now when Paul comes on the scene, you still had that division. You had some Israelites that was following the law, they were called the circumcision. Then you had others who wanted to repent, they were called the uncircumcision. Give me that one in Ephesians 2.
Ephesians 2, verse 11.
Right. Go there, I want everybody to get it, because this history of the New Testament is explained in the book of Maccabees.
Ephesians 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh.
Gentiles in the flesh. Go ahead.
Who are called uncircumcision.
Who are called uncircumcision. Paul's giving you the history right there. But if you don't know the book of Maccabees, you're looking at that like, huh? I'm confused. Go ahead.
By that which is called the circumcision.
That's those Israelites that were circumcised, that kept the law. Go ahead.
In the flesh made by hands.
Now let's go back to 1 Maccabees. What verse did you leave off at?
Verse 48.
48.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
Verse 49 is telling you why they wanted everybody to be one people. It was not because they loved us, just like here in America. When they make us all one people, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, it's not because they love blacks and Latinos. Read verse 49 again.
To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
That's the reason behind it. Go ahead. So now you come with the Bible saying, listen, your son's got to get circumcised. You good women got to keep the law. What? No, you wrong, nigga, you wrong. And everybody hates your guts. Verse 49 again.
To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
That was the law. If you try to keep God's commandments, then you were put to death. Just like during the time of slavery.
Dios te bendice, hijo. Dios te bendice.
In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
So notice it says overseers. Remember in Exodus we read about officers being set up of the children of Israel? Same thing. Go ahead.
Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land.
Come on.
And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Meaning comfort. Go ahead.
Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar.
That's when they set up the idol of Zeus in the temple. Go ahead.
And build it
and put swine's flesh. Go ahead.
And builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets, And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire.
See what they did to the Bibles? That's what they were destroying. Esau's more slick now. Hitler was burning them, but guess what? When he was burning the Torahs and the Tanakhs and all that, but guess what Esau's doing today? It's very slick. Who knows what he's doing? They're changing them. You got a woman's Bible? I just saw a new one, the black woman's Bible. I said, what the hell is this? They got now they got the gay Bible, where Adam and Steve are in love. Mary is a lesbian in love with Martha and has a baby through immaculate conception. What the hell is this? Wickedness. Read that verse again.
And burnt incense at the doors of their houses in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whatsoever was found with any, the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Come on.
Thus did they, by their authority, unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities.
So they did a checkup on us every month. Go ahead. Inspections. Go ahead.
Now the 5 and 20th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God.
So they sacrificed swine's flesh on the altar of Zeus, which was they put on the altar of God. Go ahead.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
So you had sisters that wanted to keep the commandments, and they said, kill those women. They were making an example out of them, right?
And they hanged the infants about their necks.
So they hanged the children up by their necks so everyone could see their circumcised penises so that they could know why those women and their children was put to death. This is what your hunks did, your lovely white man. Go ahead.
And rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
That's our daddies, come on.
Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant, so then they died.
Now that's the level of Negro today, coming out of a low state of mind we gotta build ourselves to, men and women. Because we coming out of a low down, dirty, shame, mental state of mind. We are grimy people who will do anything for $1. Chapter 2.
In those days arose Mattathias.
Here we go. In those days arose Mattathias. Pay close attention. Come on.
The son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorid, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan called Caddis, Simon called Thasi, Judas who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Abiram, and Jonathan whose surname was Apis.
Can we put up, Abiel? There's a map that we have up there with the forefathers. You got John Gaddy right there on the left. These are his sons, Simon, Maccabeus. You got Judas Maccabeus. You got Eleazar, Abiram, and Jonathan Maccabeus. Those are the 5 boys he had right there. Then it gives you Simon's genealogy from Simon. John Hyrcanus I. He named his second son Mattathias. He named his third one Judah. Okay, but that's what I wanted you to see. Those are the descendants. Okay, so Mattathias, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boys. These were his sons. Okay.
Eleazar called Abiram, and Jonathan whose surname was Apis.
Now the word Maccabeus that was put on Judah, but it's often in some books put on all 5 sons. Maccabeus. What does it mean? It's a Greek word that means what? Kello?
The hammer.
It means the hammer. He was given that nickname because he was a hell of a fighter. It's like he used a sledgehammer beating the hell out of the Greeks. He gave them hell. He didn't give up. This brother didn't even want to get married. He said, no, I'm going to kill me some more white people. They said, no, the white man came to him and said, please, can you just stop and marry someone? Look at all the beautiful black women. Can you marry one? He said, no, I'm going to kill you guys. That's in 2 Maccabees, right? When it goes into that. And when you notice how Mattathias, we down. Yeah.
Verse 6. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people?
This is what Mattathias the father said. Go ahead.
And of the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temples become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdoms and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she has become a bondslave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler, and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. And Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
So, now when he's using the word religion, what is he referring to right here? What is he referring to?
The way of life, the way that they live.
What does that mean?
The commandments.
Yes, the commandments. He's referring to the commandments. Go ahead.
Now when he had left speaking these words.
Now notice they went to him because they felt if Mattathias would do that, everybody would follow behind him. But Mattathias, that's why you brother, that's what Christ said, you are the light of the world. People, let men see your good works, that they may glorify you. Can we get that in Matthew 5? That's why you gotta put these precepts together. The same thing that we're reading about historically with Mattathias is the same thing Christ told us and commanded us. What verse we going to?
Matthew 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works.
See that? Let your light. Let the law. That's the light. Read it again.
Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works.
That they may see your good works. Not tuck in your fringes. Not wear those fringes. How can I be sure fringes? Let them see. What's that? Yo, what's that? The stuff on your shirt. What's that about? Why sisters always, why you wear dresses all the time? What's up? What's that about? Read that again.
Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works.
Why don't you celebrate Christmas with the rest of us? You don't go to our Christmas parties. Why do you celebrate the Feast of Dedication? What's that about? Read it again.
Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works.
Why don't you eat pork like the rest of us? Why do you always eat those clean foods and don't eat what we eat? Read it again.
Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Why will they see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven? Zekiah.
They're going to repent.
Who? Edomites?
Not at all. No.
Exactly.
The brothers.
That's right. The brothers and the sisters. Your people is meant to see your good works so that they will follow your example. And that's when they will glorify the Father which is in heaven. Why? Because they're going to say, thank you, Lord, that you introduced me to this brother or that sister that showed me the right way. I had a living example. If a woman is walking around dressed like a hoochie mama with a crack of her behind always showing, or a brother got his behind showing, he or she needs a living example to see how to live, how to dress. Women walk up in here, they don't know how to dress. How am I supposed to? I don't know what to do. Watch the other sisters. Brothers, watch the brothers. Watch what they do. I don't know what to teach my kids. Watch what they teach their kids. It's about being an example. Read that verse again.
Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven. 1 Maccabees 2, verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews.
Here comes a nigga, because that's what I got to tell you straight. Go ahead.
There came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment.
He couldn't hide his anger no more. Go ahead.
Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
He had to kill him. He said, I can't control I got to kill this dude. He's setting that example because all the young men and young women are there, and Mattathias just gave a great speech. Loudly. All Israel's with him. Then a Negro goes, I'm going to do what Master said. He going to walk through the crowd and sacrifice. Mattathias said, oh, you think you got some? I'm going to kill his behind right now. And he killed the dude. He couldn't hold it. He said he couldn't even hide the fact that he was so angry. He couldn't hide it. Go ahead.
Also, the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time. And the altar he pulled down.
He said, I ain't through yet. I ain't just going to kill him with the black brother. I'm going to kill you too. And he killed that dude, the Edomite, and pulled down the altar. Go ahead.
Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salam.
See that? So Mattathias had his example from our forefather Phinehas during the time of Moses. That's why Paul says, what did he say in Romans 15:4?
Yep.
The things written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Amen to that. Come on.
And Mattathias cried throughout the city.
Listen good. He cried throughout the city
with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city.
Y'all see that? So they was ready to die. They left everything behind because they know. What did they know was going to happen next? The Greeks were going to come. They was going to send an army. Go ahead.
Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down to the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them.
See that? Come on.
Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down to the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
So they chose to fight against them on the Sabbath. Now this isn't Mattathias and them. Okay, now watch. This is another group of Israelites who followed Mattathias' example. So the Greeks decided to fight against them on the Sabbath days. Come on.
And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth. Neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die all in our innocency.
So this group of Israelites said, let us all die in our innocency. Come on.
Heaven and earth shall testify for us, that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people.
Watch this.
Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore.
That's why I was telling you that group wasn't Mattathias' group. That was another group that had to follow Mattathias' example. Go ahead.
And one of them said to another.
Now this is counsel. This is why you need counsel. But brothers, before you jump up hastily and do a dumb thing, sit down, think, take counsel on a matter. Go ahead.
And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
So that's what Mattathias and his counselors said. If we follow the example of our brothers, the Greeks will root all Israel out of the earth. They'll kill us all. Go ahead.
At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him.
Why were the Greeks coming against them on the Sabbath day?
Because they know that according to the laws on the Sabbath, we weren't to do any sort of labor.
How the Greeks know that?
Oh, the Greeks had to study our Bible.
Exactly. They studied us. Didn't we just watch the video with this dude? The dude said the FBI studies black culture. The Edomites they know music and things, certain writings that we ourselves have not known. If y'all go to work, you ever know some white people can rap songs? You be like, yo, what's that? They don't know artists you never heard about. They know all the lyrics. Not that they love the music, they study us. They study us. Our likes, our dislikes. That's the same thing that we're reading about in the book of Maccabees.
They read.
Right. Esau likes to read. Negroes don't.
He reads.
But the white man will sit down and read. If it takes him a week to get through the book, he gonna take that week. But he gonna know all he can about you. Come on.
At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law.
Now these Assyrians is the group where the Pharisees derived from. This is where they are sent from. Go ahead.
Also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor.
So notice it says about the Assyrians, then it says, verse 43, also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them. So it was this time that's going by. Israel, who might have agreed, as they started catching hell, they started to come join Mattathias and his sons, which is the same thing. Give me that prophecy, Hosea 5:15. Yep. This is the same thing. So don't worry about Israel out here in the world. The Most High said, I got this. You brothers just teach. Y'all set the example. Do the word. I'm going to bring Israel to 1/3 back. And this is how he's going to do it.
Hosea 5 verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
So God wants us to acknowledge our offense. Watch this.
And seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
In their affliction, God says, they will seek me early. So that, the tsunami that happened in Haiti, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because that's what, the Haitians, they still ain't turned yet. Right. Mosai said, they ain't turned. He's saying, he got his counselors. Hey, they didn't turn yet. They still worshiping a white man as Jesus Christ. Look at them down there.
Turn the heat up.
I'm gonna turn the heat up. You heard that song the sister sang? Go ahead, turn the heat up, Most High. Most High says, I'm gonna turn the heat up on that black behinds. He ain't finished with our people yet. He ain't finished. Go ahead, go back to 1 Maccabees. What verse was that?
Verse 44.
44.
So they joined forces and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor.
Read 44 again.
So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath.
Guess who some of these sinful men and wicked men was? Israelites. They could not stand them coon Israelites. That's what they was, coons. Coon sellout Israelites. He couldn't, they said, we got to kill them. That's why when y'all see that whole thing about the FBI, that dude said he's on the lam. He said he's on the run. He said wherever he go, people after him. He did so much dirt for the government. Destroyed so many people's lives and families. Read on. And he ain't the only, he's the only one that confessed it. There might be some of y'all sitting up in here, but guess what? We don't give a damn who you is.
We don't die, we multiply.
That's right, we don't die, we multiply. The prophecy says 1/3 of Israel going to return. That's it. So you can do your dirt. What are we doing? We're going to go back and tell them. We keep the commandments. That's it. Okay, but we got something for you. Yeah.
Verse 45. The Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel, uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly.
Valiantly. They said, circumcise that boy. What the hell is this? Israel wanted blessings. They said, listen, we want the Most High to fight for us. We all got to be on one accord, keeping these commandments. That's what Mattathias knew and understood.
They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand.
See that? And the work prospered in their hand. That's what we want. The work that the Most High has given us, this camp, we want the work to prosper. Go ahead.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles.
See what Mattathias said? Because a lot of times I always say this. We always forget the daddy. Don't forget. We talk about Judah Maccabee. Daddy was bad. He was an example to Judah and the rest of them. Come on.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles, and out of the hand of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, in the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph in the time of his distress kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
That's Joshua. Go ahead.
Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent, for the law was taken up into heaven.
That's Elijah. Go ahead.
Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael.
Those are the three Hebrews with Daniel.
By believing was saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
Read verse 61 again.
And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
Read it again.
That none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
None that put their trust in the Most High shall be overcome. We always got to remember that when those fear tactics come your way. When you got you brothers with that online, some of y'all online with that rebellious woman that says, I ain't doing a damn thing. You got to get out of my house. Now you brother, you scared. What to do? Read that verse for that brother.
And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
And you sisters that might be living home with your parents hear the truth they don't want to hear, they're going to throw you out. Read it again.
And that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
None of us that put our trust in the Most High shall be overcome. Come hell or high water, believe that. Go ahead.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man. So what, your daddy gonna throw you out the house? Or your wife is railing on you. Read it again.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms.
His glory shall be doodle and worms. Dead. Go ahead. Dead.
Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing.
And the thoughts that he had is going to come to nothing. Come on.
Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
Read that again.
Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it shall ye obtain glory.
So all the sons of Jacob, we must show ourselves valiant on behalf of the law. By that shall we obtain glory. That means fame. We're going to be famous. So give me that scripture in Zechariah. It's one of the Z's, Zechariah, Zephaniah, about in the land where you was put to shame. That one.
Zephaniah 3 verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee.
Everybody that afflicts us, God is going to undo them and kill them, destroy them. Go ahead.
And I will save her that halted.
And he will save her. The her is us, the Israelites, that halted, meaning stopped. We've been halted in serving the Most High. Go ahead.
And gather her that was driven out.
And he's going to gather us that have been driven out. Come on.
And I will get them praise and fame.
And I will get them praise and fame
in every land.
In every land.
Where they have been put to shame.
Where they have been put to shame. The Most High said he's going to make every one of us famous on the earth. All the nations going to know your name. They ain't going to turn their back on you. They ain't going to even look you in the eye. They're going to bow their heads when they see you, and they're going to call your name. That's fame. That's honor. That's glory. But if you're not valiant, nobody will ever remember who you are. You're going to be dust on the earth. I'm scared. Like they said in that movie, what's that movie? In Troy, when he said to Achilles, I'll never fight him. And Achilles said, no, that's why nobody will ever remember your name. You scaredy little black and Latin boys. Let's go back to where we was at. And so if you like that, if you might be in here scared. A lot of you young ones, y'all, some of you older ones too. These are the history you need to read and meditate on. and say, and when you pray, Father, make me like this. Put this spirit on me. This is the type of spirit I want to have. You got to pray them prayers. Where you at?
In verse
64.
64. Thank you. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it shall ye obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you.
So Mattathias understood that his son Simon was a counselor. You got to see which brothers got the spirit of counsel. Who can determine and give right counsel regarding matters? So Mattathias knew his son Simon had that type of a spirit. He's a counselor. He can figure things out, the rights from wrongs, okay? And make peace and amends for matters. Go ahead.
As for Judas Maccabeus, he had been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain and fight the battle of the people.
He said, but Judas Maccabee, that guy, that son, let him be the leader. Because that dude is a warrior from his youth. He always fought for the laws of the Most High from his childhood. He said, let him be your captain. So he knew the spirits on his kids. Go ahead.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people.
Read it again.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law.
Read it again.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law.
That's why if you ain't keeping the law, get out! Because you're going to hinder this work. You up in here being grimy and sinful, you going to hinder the work. Read it again.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law.
So that was a commandment that Mattathias gave his son. He said, only deal with them that keep the commandments. That's the only way you're going to prosper. That's the only way God will be on your side. Because if you're not keeping the law, the Most High going to fight against you. Didn't the heathen say that in the book of Judith?
Yeah.
Said they knew that. They observed us. They studied us. The Moabite, what was he?
Achior. Ammonite.
Ammonite. He told the king, he said, if these people are keeping the law, you can't defeat them. But if they breaking the law, you shall wipe them off the earth. Esau knows that, studying our records. That's why they be on YouTube condemning us. Oh, the law, the law. Why don't you know what two brothers need? You need 5 and 6 women. Then you're going to relax with all that law stuff. These are Israelites telling us that. Condemning us about the law. So all we want with us, read verse 67 again.
Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people.
See that? That's the only way we're going to overcome. Come on.
Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year. And his sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modin. And all Israel made great lamentation for him.
Why did Mattathias set the men up? Here's my question. Why did he set the men up? Why did he set the women up? Gideon. Gideon got the answer. Now this might seem like a funny question, but there's a reason behind it. You sisters, hold on to your wigs. Go ahead.
Because the Most High said, my flock shall be of men, and also he promised us the house of Israel shall be a nation of judges and priests.
Very good, I like your answer. Now, during the 60s, the Panthers, I always go back to that because I like looking at that old stuff. You got to learn from that old stuff. The Panthers made a grievous mistake. They had women set up in positions of power. If y'all seen anybody ever seen them old tapes? You had Angela Davis, famous. Anybody know what Angela Davis is doing today?
Angela Davis is completely against our black brothers. She was against the Million Man March in Brooklyn, and she's also one of the leaders for the women's activist movement, for feminist movement. She also she said she was against the Black Panther movement.
Can you talk plain?
She's a lesbian.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, the brother, Azariah Joel was right. She's educated in the system now. She's for the feminist movement. She's a lesbian. And the reason is you are not to put women in men's positions. Can we get the next video?
Now, with the passage of time, it's become absolutely crystal clear that, in fact, the FBI did have a program of undermining the activities of the Panther Party. And in fact, I think the Senate Select Committee on Government Intelligence Activities in '76 said the FBI engaged in lawless tactics against Black Panther Party and responded to deep-seated societal problems by fomenting violence and unrest. I mean, pretty tough indictment of a central agent of government. Yet it's interesting, I've read in your works that you don't believe that it was the FBI and only the FBI that was responsible for the demise of the Panther movement.
What I call the final demise is the difference. I'm not going to take the FBI off the hook. They've violated our constitutional rights. I think Wesley Swearingen, with his recent book, FBI Secrets, Southern Price Publishing, exemplifies that. He's an FBI agent who's revealing real murder tactics, particularly John Huggins and others. Now, the FBI violated our rights. They fermented that split between Eldridge Cleaver and Huey Newton, all of that. Now, let's get into the fall of '73. Elaine Brown is running around telling little lies on people so she can get close to Huey. I think somebody said this about you, Chairman, servant, and they disrespecting you. And one day, Huey, beginning to snort cocaine, abusing that, jumped on a rank-and-file party member and beat the hell out of him. A whole herd of 100 and some odd party members just left. Who the hell he think he is?
We cannot make the same mistakes that our people did in the past. I'm telling y'all, there's a little camp out there where you got women up in control, talking about ass sister such and such. You go ahead and join them if you want. Go to her throne. Give me that.
12 disciples.
With her 12 disciples. The Syphettes.
1 Corinthians 14, verse 34. Verse 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak.
So he brought out that the woman was spreading lies. All in the brothers' ear trying to get next to Huey Newton. Spreading lies. And the dude started snorting coke. Then he started believing her lies.
Worm tongue.
Right, worm tongue. I need that clip. Next week we're going to get on that thing. Worm tongue. In the dude's ear, gossiping. And he, believing the woman, went and beat the hell out of one of the other party members. And a whole 100 and some people left. You got to be, drugs and gossip don't go well together at all. So now 1 Corinthians 11 and 2. That's why the Most High had Paul reiterate that over and over. Because you might ask yourself, how come the Apostle Paul keeps talking about the women? You just saw an example of why.
And the feminist movement, they can't stand Paul.
Right,
can't stand the feminist movement to this very day. They cannot stand, since Amelia Bloomer, Susan B. Anthony, they cannot stand Paul's letters. They hate it, especially Corinthians 11. They could have said he was a chauvinist. He changed the Bible, made it wrong. They can't stand him to this very day.
Exactly.
Especially right here. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Y'all see that? That's why the order is set up the way it is. So you got a woman in your, that's what we tell, when we have our councils, we get on you, you brothers know who you are. Brother, my wife said, well, shut the hell up! Your wife said, brother, my wife, get that. The hell? Bro, there's some outrageous councils we was having. Everything we talk about, my wife said. The hell? I'll tell you about that pillow talk. You in bed, she just gave you some, you feeling good, your guard is down, and she's in your ear laying like a pillow. You know what I think? And you're sitting there going, what? I think y'all should let women do say, yeah, okay, I think so too. You know, you might be right. You might have something going on there.
You might want to say, let me enjoy the moment.
What'd you say?
I said, you might want to say, shut the hell up and let me enjoy the moment.
So, now we know some of you sisters coming out of the Christian church, you might have had authority there. But guess what? When it comes to the truth of God, we going by what the Bible says. Everybody got to fall in their role. Everybody got to fall in their order. Okay, everybody. That's the only way we're going to have success. That's why the women all turned to lesbians. I sit there, how all these women became lesbians? All in positions of power. All the people out there with guns, shooting, kicking people's butts. I'm like, what the hell? All out of order. Lesbian man spirits start coming on. Most I know what he's talking about. We got to follow his laws, his rules. Okay? That's why we try to pull some of you weak brothers out the closet. No, and you got to keep that in there. But you better change. You got to change and put on what we're reading here about that man's spirit. Where we at like that?
We're in verse 69. No, chapter 3 now, verse 1.
Yeah, hold on, brother. Read verse 68 again.
Verse 68. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law.
Yeah, Brother Joel, how do we do that today?
By going out to teach.
That's right. That's how we're doing it, because they're the one who destroyed Jake. So we go out turn the mind of Jake to Most High God.
That's right. Okay, where we at, I thought?
3 and 1.
Come on. First Maccabees 3 and 1.
Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all that had held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel.
Anybody notice that there's no what amongst them?
There's no jealousy or divisions among them.
Y'all see that? Y'all heard what he said? Once Mattathias set up the order, all those Israelites, they followed that. There was no jealousy, no envy. That's what will mess up any movement up. You saw that with, what's that dude's name? We always talk about? The most famous black revolution, what's that? The Nation of Islam. Malcolm X. He was the most famous. As soon as you think about them, his is the name you think of. You don't think of Elijah Muhammad. You don't think of, and he was the quote-unquote leader. He didn't have the same character, the same charisma that Malcolm had. Malcolm was the one that virtually seemed like built that whole thing up. And all that jealousy and envy, he think he's the leader. He think he's this. All that jealousy came up and destroyed most of was going to destroy it anyway, bring it down like he's still going to do today. He ain't finished with them until they repent and come back to these laws as Israel. Because they know they're Israel, but they're rebellious as hell. All of them. Okay, come on.
So he got his people great honor.
So now, when we set the order up here with the officers, there should be no jealousy, no envy. At the one Passover, when we first set up the order, you had one little brother on the back. Murmuring, mad as hell. Why, that was a deacon. I've been in this truth longer than him. I know more scriptures than him. He don't know the breakdowns like I know. Brother, you're out of order though. Then you get the younger one. Then a wife on the side. She pillow talk. I think you should have been raised up. You know what? You need to leave. He laying there. Yeah, you right. I'm talking about Houston now, because that's what was going on there. The woman in the ear. You know more than brother such and such. You should be raised up. All that foolishness, that's why our forefathers had blessings and success, and why our people constantly fail today, trying to get rid of the old Negro mindset.
Yes, she might be in the brother's ears and saying that all your clothes got fringes in it. You should be maybe the deacons. Work for all your fringes, because like the elders say the best. Most High set people up. It's not men. We just following these commitments by any means. So Most High gonna set you up. Then your wisdom gonna speak for you.
Exactly.
So he got his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his axe he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. For he pursued the wicked and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Now see that? Salvation prospered in his... That's what we want to happen. We want salvation to prosper in our hands. When we hit the streets, people hear and repent. That's the level we want to get to. We want to be on major networks. We want to be on radio, TV, teaching the laws of God in Christ, that we are the Israelites. And we want salvation to prosper in our hands. Come on.
He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his axe, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them,
in turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host out of Samaria.
So those Israelites that were ready to perish, Judas Maccabee made sure he took care of them and looked after them and taught them. That's our job. That's the same thing Christ said, when I was hungry, you what? You fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me.
Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host out of Samaria, to fight against Israel. Which thing when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him. And so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius his sword also. And therewith he fought all his life long. Now when Saron, of prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him.
And you always got that. Now, Malachi, you bear witness to this. We went to Chicago and taught outside that minister's church. His deacon said, we're going to go out and get us a name. And they came out and got embarrassed. Got confounded, humiliated. Had to go back in the church and shut the hell up.
Now they went up in the church and they pulled strings called politicians and so forth to get us from in front of the church.
That's exactly what happened. Yes, Zakai?
Y'all need to sell that for $9.99. I think it's beautiful right
Come on.
So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near to the going up of Beth-horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who when they saw the host coming to meet them, turned to Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
Most High don't care about numbers. That's what Judas was reminding them. God don't look at the ranks of men. That's why when Christ was on the scene, he started with what? 12 men. He didn't have a whole hundreds and thousands, and we're going to just start with 12. That's how Judas, remember it was just Mattathias and his sons. Then Israel started to come behind them and follow their lead, their example. That's the same thing that's going to happen now in these last days. Go ahead.
They come against us in much pride and iniquity, to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them.
See that he had to remind them, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Go ahead.
Now as soon as he had left off speaking, he leaped suddenly upon them, and so Saron and his host was overthrown before him. And they pursued them from the going down of Beth-horon unto the plain.
So notice, you gotta visualize this. Everybody, they there, all talking, they scared. He's encouraging them. All right. The second he finished talking, what does Judas do? He leaps in the battle. He didn't wait and say, now come on, brothers. He said, boom, went right to the battle. What did the rest of the men do? They all went. He had to lead, set that example. Right. That's why you gotta look at them little movies that the East will be putting out, like Braveheart and all that. After they give this speech, boom, they're in the battle. That was our people anyway, Braveheart. All that was our people during the Dark Ages. Come on, where we at, I thought?
In verse 24. And they pursued them from the going down of Beth-horon unto the plain. We were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the hand of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them. Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, When he saw that the money of his treasures failed and that the tributes in the country were small because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land and taking away the laws which had been of old time, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer.
Because they had to get paid. Go ahead.
Nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him. Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a nobleman and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered up unto him, he delivered unto him the half of his forces, and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit, that he should send an army against them, to destroy and root out the strength of Israel, and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters, and divide their land by lot. So the kings took the half of the forces that remained, and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 147th year. And having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy the son of Doromenes and Nicanor and Georgius, mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So they went forth with all their power, and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold, very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
Notice it says, let us restore the decayed state of our people. What state is our people in today? Decayed. We're in a decayed state. So the things we're reading about should, what's the word? Motivate us, inspire us, because there's very little difference. Go ahead.
Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Maspah, over against Jerusalem. For in Maspah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes.
So they were always fasting. Pay attention to that. Go ahead.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So verse 48 shows you how the white man was putting his images in our records. He put himself as Moses, himself as Phineas, himself as Joseph. So when Mattathias, remember Mattathias was the one that got the records back. They had to get all that out the books. So likewise in these last days, anytime you look at movies, books on the Israelites, this same thing comes to pass. The white man has put his images throughout our records. Yes, let's live.
For them to be able to put their images on our records, that means there had to be pages that had images already.
That's right.
Because if not, they would just be painting over the words.
Exactly.
So that means that there was images already in those books that they painted over.
Right. We had our own images in those books. Okay, so the white man was whitewashing and putting himself in there. And you know what that shows again, that these Israelites, certain dumb groups that say you're not supposed to have images, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And if you listen to them, shame on you.
That's right.
Come on.
Let me say something real quick. You know what that also show? That also show that for brothers or sisters that might still got that doubt in their mind that the Israelites, you know what? We might not be the Israelites. this shows you that the Israelites was black. You understand? Because if the Greeks in them, well, if the Israelites was white, then the Greeks would have no reason to paint their images in the Bible. The images would already be white. So this is just for brothers that, and sisters that still have that weak faith. All right?
Yeah, you see that? Now that's what I call thinking. You heard how he just did that? He just went deep. A lot of people didn't even catch that.
Where? Read again, 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. They brought also the priest's garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes. And the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, What shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. And after this Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands and over hundreds, over 50s and over 10s.
Y'all see that? So don't think when we set up captains and officers that we just made it up. We pulled it out of thin air. It's all in our records. That's how the Most High commanded it to be done. Go ahead.
But for us such as were building houses, or have betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law.
So the ones that didn't go to battle according to the law were those that were building houses, those who had just gotten married, those that were planting vineyards, and the scared brothers. So no, you can't go to war with us. You're gonna infect the rest of us. Come on.
So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emmaus. And Judas said, Arm yourselves and be valiant men, and see that ye be in the readiness against the morning, that ye may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us in our sanctuary. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do. Chapter 4, verse 1.
So this is the last chapter. We're going to end it on this chapter. Read on. Chapter 4, verse 1.
Then took Georges 5,000 footmen.
Some people pronounce it Gorgias. Okay? Or some people may say it ain't gorgeous. It's Gorgias. Gorgias. Go ahead.
Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews, and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army which was at Emmaus, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the mean season came Gorgias by night.
What is the mean season? Brother, right here. What's the mean season?
Mean season, that's winter with snow.
Right. Winter. That's the mean season. Winter. Come on.
In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas. And when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains. But said he, these fellows flee from us.
These guys was running. They scared of us. They was getting excited, the Greeks were. Go ahead.
But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds.
So Judas, man, the brothers with him, when it says, had neither armor nor swords to their minds, means they were what? They were not trained men. Like the Greeks was trained in the arts of war from their youth, but the Israelites was not. Judas and his men were not. Okay?
And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were expert of war.
See that? They were expert at war. Go ahead.
Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault.
Now, where did we read that earlier? Not earlier today, but where do we read something similar to that? Read that verse again.
Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault.
It sounds very similar. Something sounds very similar to that God told Israel. Hananiah.
Ezekiel 3?
Yes, Ezekiel 3. Can you get that for me?
Called on the man.
Ezekiel 3.
Verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their face.
Behold, I have made your face strong against their face.
And thy forehead strong against their forehead.
And your mind strong against their mind.
As an adamant harder than flint.
As an adamant harder than flint.
Have I made thy forehead.
Come on.
Fear them not.
Fear them not.
Neither be dismayed at their looks.
Neither be dismayed at their looks. Was that it?
Yeah.
So the Most High was telling them.
Though they be a rebellious house. Though they be a rebellious house.
No, so the Most High was telling the Israelites that was out Ezekiel, when you go out and teach my word, don't be scared. Don't be dismayed at the Israelites' faces, though they be a rebellious house. So that's what Judas was telling his men. Don't be scared of the people. Go out there and teach. Go out there. Well, Judas said go out there and kill. But the Lord's telling us, go out there and teach and don't be frightened. Okay? That's the point. That's the point. Don't be scared. Some of y'all scared. We know y'all scared. But that's why the classes are very important, to build up your self-confidence. Some of y'all are not good speakers, but that's why the classes are here, to build you up. Get used to standing up before people and speaking. Come on, where you at?
1 Maccabees 4, verse 8 again.
Come on.
Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army.
Exhortation, that's what he's doing, exhorting the men. Go ahead.
Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day. That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
One that delivereth and saveth who?
Israel.
Israel. One that delivereth and saveth Israel. Go ahead.
When the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them, wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen being discomfited fled into the plain.
We whooped their behinds. Come on.
Howbeit all the hindmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them.
The hindmost means those that was in the back. Go ahead.
For they pursued them unto Gezerah, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon a 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with this host from pursuing them, and said to the people, be not greedy of the spoils, inasmuch as there is a battle before us.
He said, don't get greedy of the spoils. There's a battle before us.
Not done yet.
We ain't done yet. Come on.
And Gorgias and his host are here by us in the mountain.
So Judas was wise. He said, that army we just fought, that wasn't Gorgias. So don't be bending down trying to get the goods. Leave that. There's the enemy still out there. They might attack us suddenly. Be prepared. Go ahead.
But stand ye now against our enemies, and overcome them. And after this, ye may boldly take the spoils. As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight, and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. When therefore they perceived these things, they were so afraid, and seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight, they fled everyone into the land of strangers. Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver, and blue silk and purple of the sea, and great riches. After this they went home, and sung a song of thanksgiving, and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endureth forever.
So our people were singing. When we fought that battle and went home, we were singing songs to the Most High, praising his holy name. Come on.
Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened, who when he heard thereof was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded him were come to pass.
Because they had such a great army, he could not believe what he was hearing. Those dudes beat the armies of Greece with all your armor, all your horses, all your weapons. These dudes are not trained the way you are, but they whooped us.
The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David.
and gavest the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. Shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen.
What I want y'all to see is that when he prayed, what did he, you don't think the Most High knew this history? The Most High knows the history, but in his prayers, he reminded the Most High, do for me what you did for our forefathers. That's why you gotta learn your history. The Most High wants you to know your history. When you pray to him, pray these prayers. Father, I want you to do for me what you did to my forefathers. Bless me like you did our forefathers. Okay? Our foremothers when they was in captivity. Do for me like you did for them. Don't come with those Christian prayers. You just sit down, oh Lord, oh Lord Jesus, help me. Oh God, amen. What the hell is this? The Most High, what is going on with that?
You notice that spirit goes strong into faith too. You understand? They better have a strong faith, Most High able to deliver him, just like he delivered their forefathers. It's strong faith.
Come on. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas's soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly, he went into Antiochia, and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judea. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Now this is the beginning of Hanukkah, the feast of dedication. Read that verse again. What verse is that?
36.
Verse 36.
Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Come on.
Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts, as in a forest or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priest's chambers pulled down, they rent their clothes and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their heads, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as have pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into an unclean place.
So it's very important to keep the place, it had to be clean, it had to be cleansed. That's why you brothers, you think we just getting on y'all about this little hole in the wall we got here? Let's keep it clean. We coming up back like our forefathers. We were about cleansing the places where we gathered together and worship, not about filth. Why did we celebrate? How long did it say? How long we celebrated? How long? Why did we celebrate for 8 days? Who got the answer? Zephaniah.
It was patterned after.
Say it again.
It was patterned after the Feast of Tabernacles.
Right. Where can we read about that? Joshua.
2 Maccabees 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 1 tells you that Hanukkah is to be observed for 8 days, just like the Feast of Tabernacles. So during this week, read that history. What verse you at, Ethan? We're almost done.
51.
51, go ahead.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals.
Because in chapter 1, verse 59, was the same day and time that the heathen profaned the temple. So the same date and time is when it got rededicated back to the Most High. Go ahead.
And all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year, by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. At that time also they builded up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down, as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea.
Amen.
Express yourself. Express yourself. You don't never need help from nobody else. All you got to do now, express yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. Whatever you do, Lord, Lord. Do it good. Oh yeah. It's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing when you're doing what you look like you're doing. Express yourself. Express yourself. They're doing it on the moon, y'all. In the jungle too. Everybody on the floor now. Jumping like a kangaroo. So let the horn do the thing they do, y'all. Some people have everything and other people don't. But everything don't mean a thing if it ain't the thing you want. Express yourself. Express yourself. Oh, do it. Oh, do it. Do it to it. Go on and do it. Y'all do it. Get it.
down.